public hearing for September 15th, 2025. Can we get a roll call?
Mr. Westbrooks?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Roberts?
Here.
Ms. Meske?
Here.
Mr. Wallenhorst is late or absent, I'm not sure.
So on the public hearing agenda tonight is a proposed conditional zoning certificate approval to build an oversized garage in R2 residential district located at 9042 Valley View Road. Is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak for or against this issue?
It's for me, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk or not.
You don't have, okay, yeah, you don't have to, just if anybody had a issue with it.
Okay.
Or, appears that no one wishes to speak to this, so with that, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I think that meets the requirements of that. I don't think it's even on the regular agenda. I don't know if I fully understood the whole process. Nino explained it to me, but you look,
It's on your agenda.
is it?
No,
Oh.
because it was on the agenda last time.
Was it continued to this meeting?
I don't believe so. Nino said it didn't have to be
Nino
on the.
explained it to me that, I don't know if they had a rule in it, or they had an opinion from the law director that it could be allowed the way it's being proposed, or it should be allowed, but it required a public hearing.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
The
with
two of them
it.
had talked, I thought he was gonna forward me the amount of information, but I don't think he ever did, just to kind of fully understand it, but, Nino seemed pretty confident after talking to Mark today, that all we needed to do was, a public hearing, that they were doing some administrative work to allow them, so I think, I don't even want to speculate on the details of it, but, we can follow, at some point, Mr. Smith. I think,
That it?
my understanding, you're good.
Okay.
So tonight, you're good to go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
I don't know if we want to try and wait for Scott. I would love to just roll into the meeting, but I think he's planning on being here, he probably
I just
just
forgot.
forgot. Let's give him a few minutes. So we'll start the regular meeting shortly.
Here.
I haven't seen her.
Scott?
Not yet, but you never know.
Yeah. So,
Scott, you just
locking your pay.
Yeah.
100% reduction.
Are you ready to adjourn?
With that, I will call to order the regular scheduled September 15th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. If we get a roll call.
Mr. Westbrooks?
Here.
Mr. Roberts?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Wallenhorst?
Here.
Ms. Meske?
Here.
All right. First item is approval of the July 23rd public hearing minutes. Any comments on that? We'll make a motion.
We'll move to approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And next is approval of the July 21st regular meeting minutes. Any comments? Make a motion.
I would approve it as submitted.
All right, is there a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. First agenda item is ProQuip, a sign located at 850 East Highland Road. Come on up. I knew you were here before, but if you could give Susie your name just so she's...
Yeah, Mark Dale, Diamond Sensor Graphics. Brian Abraham, ProQuip.
So now you guys submitted new plans, some changes on it, including that base. Mr. Francis reviewed that. Would you like to go over your thoughts?
Sure. My report date is September 7th. So the issues discussed at the last time we discussed this at Planning Commission related to the aesthetics of the plastic cabinet as well as the base, and then finally landscaping around the base of the sign. The revised proposal includes a brick base to match the building, and then perennials for landscaping around the base, and then the plastic cabinet remains. So in my report, I just state the commission, the brick base is a nice addition. Commission just needs to decide if the plastic cabinet's acceptable, and then landscaping wise, just felt that some more year-round landscaping, so maybe just the addition of some boxwoods or low-lying shrubs would be good to add to that base. And then just note the additional signs on the property, they may or may not be there anymore. And I'm looking at an aerial photograph, but or actually this was Google Street View, but there was some temporary signs and then an additional ground sign. So just felt we should talk through those. If they're no longer there, then they're not an issue.
All right. Anyone else have any comments? Sure. All right. You guys have thoughts? Plastic cabinet. I personally probably okay with it. I assume it's a good material, whatever you're using for the cabinet itself.
Everything would be made out of this.
Okay. Yeah, I've talked the cabinet, not the base.
The cabinet would be
Oh,
like this.
same.
Cabinet is not, it's gonna be have relief to it now.
Oh.
So it's gonna be a 1/4 inch raised border, graphics, text. So it's not gonna be flat.
So the letters are gonna be, the letters in the,
Everything's gonna be raised.
okay, on a white background?
It's gonna be on a gray background.
Okay.
Just as represents.
So it's not a brick background?
No.
Are you open to providing some additional different landscaping, a little bit something that's year-round, mixed in with that?
Mhm.
Or like a boxwood on either end of the sign. This mix of perennials is great. It's good like summer through, or spring through fall color, so that, I mean, I have no problem with the
Excuse
mix.
me. Is this presented?
What's that?
Was this presented?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
looking at it right now.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, yeah.
No, I think it's a very good, plant palette. I would just add maybe 2 shrubs, one on either end of the sign. I think that would just be enough to kind of hold it through winter. It looks like something's there.
Thoughts not the same?
So you said the background's gonna be a gray color, not, okay, cause it says, it shows up as white on ours and it says cream, black, orange, and white is being used for the colors, so I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, this would be more like kind of gray cream.
Gray cream, okay, that's fine. Oh man, that looks nice.
I guess with that, I guess, any idea of the existing signs are shown in that, the Google Street View that Ms. France has shown? Your existing sign is about the same area.
You're replacing this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, is that one still there?
It is, it's on, the other sign is not there, but the 55th year sign is up. So,
Was that something that was planned to be temporary, or what was?
it was temporary, but we were trying to, it was something positive, we were trying to keep up on our property to show, been around for a while.
Yeah.
So we've been changing it every 5 years, I think, so.
So I guess it's something like that, not allowed to be on site as additional signage?
Yeah, the only way you can have, two ground signs is by being a corner lot. I was looking, there's some additional allowance areas for signs with larger setbacks, but that's to give you more square footage. You could incorporate that message from that sign into a larger cabinet sign. You could even make it, changeable if you wanted to change out the faces, so every 5 years or whatever, and have one larger ground sign. But, yeah, you're only allowed to have one total ground sign, being it's not a corner lot.
Something like that could go on the building though too, couldn't it? That's changeable.
Yeah, I don't know if there's building signage now, you're
You don't
allowed,
have any building signage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no building signage
No.
now.
No, nothing.
Yeah, you could have a sign on, the way the Macedonia code is written, you can have signage on each of your facades, so one sign per facade, and it's based on your, total building area, so what did I say? You're allowed 40 square feet on the identification side, and then it's 2 square feet for each foot of building
Rather than
frontage.
facing Highland there.
Yeah, and I think you have a pretty big building.
Yeah,
Right.
So yeah, you could easily do wall signage too.
so something that's on the standoffs, more that easily can be switched out.
Yeah, so wall signage being changed out is a little more difficult than like a ground sign, cause you can make provisions to change things out on a ground sign, it's kind of maintenance, but wall sign, you'd have to come back each time,
Each time.
I think, yeah.
But if you're changing it on the ground, does that mean we would have to come back?
No, cause we allow ground signs that have changeable messages.
So what you're saying is on the brick,
Yeah, incorporate it into that.
yeah, put it on the brick,
Yeah,
put something on it here,
right,
something small that says,
be nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just do that 50 years.
So it doesn't mature and block it, because I love the message, that's also
Yeah.
been in the community and in business.
Right.
So somewhere that could be added
Next
as
time.
as a small little piece just underneath,
Yeah, like an emblem or
you
something.
know, one layer of brick down or so.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money on an attractive sign, so, not that your other one isn't attractive, but,
That's
this
what
one's,
my dad wanted to keep the original sign forever, but
yeah.
now that he's
Drop
not
it off.
longer there,
Put it in the
we're
museum.
we're trying to, I'm actually trying to update a lot of it, the inside's been updated. I intend on doing even more landscaping than this, this is kind of pushing me to do some other stuff, so it's good, we're trying to make things a little bit nicer, so.
You have a lot of room, you're sitting at like 20, just under 24 square feet for
Right.
your ground sign, so you have, 16 square feet till you get to your 40, and you probably have a provision for, they could give you more area. How big is the lot that you sit on?
I'd have to look now, it's acreage wise,
Mm-hmm.
total acreage,
Yeah.
it's, well, we own the property next to it, the lot that the building's on, but that we physically own. Total acreage?
Yeah, and
With
more
the-
importantly,
We own a lot
frontage.
next to it too, it's probably over, it's close to 10, 15 acres.
Okay, and then do you know what your frontage is on your existing lot?
I'd have to check.
I don't know, these guys all have
Offhand,
fancy,
I don't have it in front, I wasn't expecting it,
yeah.
I don't have the docs.
So I'd say this, if you keep it below 16 square feet, which is big, you're still within the 40 for the monument sign, they could approve it subject to, I think. If you
That'd
go
be nice.
over 40,
That'd be
you
a
just
nice
have to
addition.
provide documentation. There's provisions that allow for more.
I have no issues with
I think it's a good idea.
that. Yeah, I do too.
So we wanna make a motion.
We'd have to look at both sides.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
The front is probably 280.
Oh,
inches.
yeah. Yeah, so they qualify for additional, so I would say again, if you keep it below the 16 square feet, the additional, to keep your message 40 square feet or less, which is basically your cabinet,
Right.
I gotta feel like you could do that. You could get creative and add some of that messaging from the other one in and only have one compliant sign,
Right.
And height limited to, I think it's what, 8 feet?
8 feet, yeah.
So we could go up, literally making the cabinet bigger, adding below the orange swishes, an area that, put it on like the standoffs that he can swap out.
Can they see the swishes? In just a second.
Either that or just raise that whole thing up and put something underneath.
Yeah, yeah, you could, I mean, what's your cabinet is,
The top part,
it's, yeah, it's a little over 3 feet by 7.5 feet, so
Correct.
yeah, you could make that slightly bigger to fit a message in there. You could adjust your swishes, I'm sure they're not trademark swishes. Yeah, there's lots of things you could do and then incorporate that into your message and have one sign, which, I mean, I'm a big proponent of, it's just less sign clutter, looks nicer
Okay,
on a property.
understood. Right. We just weren't in a position to change out the other one till my dad sort of was gone, and it's like, it's all, he's slow to change, so.
Yeah.
Now he's gone, now we're making changes.
he's still with us, he's just not in the business.
What's that?
He's still with you.
Yeah, he's not in favor of these, but
You gotta
Too late.
drop off the old one in this front yard.
yeah.
Yeah, as I put it in the lobby.
Yeah, well, I'll make a motion to approve the sign, knowing that there will be modifications, to add this additional panel, as long as you still meet the code requirements. It could be approved administratively, to add that, and then also note to add, shrubs to the landscaping at either end.
I would second that.
Mr. France?
I think it was a solid motion, I think I heard, shrubs at both ends, so 2 shrubs, and then, I'd be glad to, if the commission wants me to, I can review that and send out a little email to the chairman, and let them know it's
Okay.
compliant.
Yeah, that would be great. Any other comments? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Very
All
good.
right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for
Okay,
your
guys.
time.
Thank you very
Good
much
one.
for your help. Huh? Yeah. That's good, yeah. Thank you.
Next up is proposed signage for EVM Eye Care, Macedonia Commons. Good evening.
How's it going?
Good. You gotta sign something here and then we'll start.
Thank you.
What's your name for the record?
Melinda Arco?
Are you with sign?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so This is pretty self-explanatory. I guess, which, okay, this is going to the existing, I,
Yeah, previously Paris opticians.
okay. If you don't mind, we'll just jump into the planner's comment.
Sure.
Like, go ahead.
Sure, my report date is September 6th, so this is new signage for EBMI Care, replacing the prior tenant, Unit 52. The proposal is just under 25 square feet of sign area. Unit 52, by my book, measures 18 feet. The applicant shows it at 20. The 18 comes off of the original sign plan for the commons. But regardless, 36 or 40 square feet, they're proposing just under 25, so area-wise, it's fine. Just some technical details, and believe it or not, I don't think you'll ever hear me say this, so this is a first. We need to make the sign bigger.
I did make some edits per your notes.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
brought it with me if you guys want a copy.
I think this is the first time I said
I was
you have to
surprised to
increase the
see
sign
that.
height.
I was surprised to see that too, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, we have a requirement that says it has to at least be 24 inches, 2 feet tall, so slightly less than 2 feet tall at one point, about 1.8 almost, so just need to increase that sign area. I felt it was possible to do with some area to give on the allowance.
Sure.
Side returns and trim cap are shown as black, they need to be bronze,
Got it?
assuming you probably already made that change.
Yep.
And then the sign color, the color's green. That just needs to be approved by the planning commission pursuant to the 2014 amendment to the commons. And then the only other issue is the bottom of the sign has to be at least 15 inches from the bottom of the fascia band. There was no information to determine that. I'm assuming you
Yeah,
provided
as
that.
well.
Great, so if those changes are made, then the commission can approve it, subject to those changes. And I can quickly look at the area just to confirm it's within the allowable.
Can I have one of those as well,
Yeah.
please? Thank you.
That's a question, Brian.
Yeah.
Is green sort of the color for that company?
Yeah, with the shamrock, I just kinda wanted to.
And you have other branches somewhere else?
You know, I don't know if they're a chain or not.
I see.
That was the color they requested.
Yeah, but that's the color they like, right?
Yes.
Okay, probably go along with that.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with the color.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
I think so, yeah, I think just note specifically. Yeah. Poke around with some quick math and up there. But any other questions or thoughts?
No, I'm good with it.
Just sort of get some longhand multiplication.
Use that in advocates, bro. Looks like they have a extra one, share it with one.
If you want, you can sign that one, I just made some notes, it meets the criteria.
Okay.
So I know you typically sign them, so I just dated that,
Okay.
as submitted by the applicant.
You need any?
No, I have one. You gave me one.
Okay.
I just made a correction, you can have 36 square feet, not 32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
If you're okay with that, I'll make a motion to approve the plan that was resubmitted this evening on 9/15. As marked on the plan by Mr. France, and specifically note that the green color be approved and added to the shopping center allowable colors. Is there any second?
Your turn.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Great, thanks.
Christine, do you want us to use this one?
Do you want me to
You
use
guys
that
want
one?
to keep
I would use that.
No, we're all set,
You
thank
can
you,
do that.
they have their copies, appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, let me just write on it. Oh, you wanna sign it first?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
item is Optical Solutions, the ATM. Any comments?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone here from that? Get started a little early, they probably saw they were like third or whatever. We allowed to just come back to that, or do we need to make a motion to move it to the?
I think just note the record, the applicant's not here, you're, continuing on, and we'll come back to that item.
Okay, so noted. So noted. Alright. Yeah, Davy Tree with a proposed lot split for the enclave. Good evening. Can you get your names for the record?
Sure, I'm Brad Schneider with Redwood. Zephaniah Bradford, Data Resource Group.
Can you repeat that?
Zephaniah Bradford.
It's the first Zephaniah I think we've had.
I usually
Yeah.
Chairman, we had two of them last month. Oh, does you remember? Or why don't you, so explain what you've got going on here.
Sure, so our neighbor to the north, Dylan Madej, I think is how you pronounce it, he reached out to us and asked if we would have an interest in selling this portion to him. He would like to expand his yard, essentially. And I told him we'd be more than happy to look into that for him. I said it's gonna require, not only a lot split, but we do have a loan on our Redwood development with Fannie Mae, so we're in the process of working with them on lender approval as well. They've seen the draft and they're looking at this, so we would need, the lender to sign off on that collateral to be able to release it. So, I told them there were some steps I had to work through. First things first was I reached out to our surveyor to put together, this exhibit, and then we wanted to submit that to the city and get thoughts on it. So that's why we're here today. So.
All right, Mr. France, I don't know if you knew any of that, what the purpose was.
I didn't when I reviewed it. It makes me feel more comfortable that it's not like I thought they were trying to fit a building lot in, like.
Me too.
So there's a whole, let me go to, my report's dated September 5th, and this is for a split, as described just now by the applicant. So this particular development was subject to and developed under effectively a rezoning by the Summit County Courts, and I provide that judgment entry. And so that set the density, it set everything. So when I looked at it, that's why I was initially concerned. So this makes more sense, but I still have some, just some questions as it relates to, does the reduction of this area, this amount of acreage, change the overall permissible density? I don't think it does, but I would want to feel more comfortable about that. Also, the lot coverage percentage, the percentage of open space that was required as part of the development, and then for lots, since it's for the neighbor to the north, it needs to comply with essentially under 11-1703 of the Planning and Zoning Code, blocks and lots, all those requirements have to be met. I presume they probably are, just quickly looking at it, but I don't know I'd have to take a look at the overall length of the width, or the width of depth ratio, length to width ratio. Those are things that we would need to just make sure they meet those standards. Overall, doing what you're describing gives me less heartburn for sure.
Yeah, and I would also point out too that there is floodway and also I believe a riparian setback, so you can't really develop on it anyway, even if it was. So you know what I mean? So there's that too. I didn't know if you saw that. So
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So my experience is, as communities that are sought after have less and less land, developers find more and more creative ways to try to put things there.
Yeah.
And I thought this one was just trying to be very creative.
No.
So could, if this transaction goes through, can the new owner build something on their garage, a barn, something like that? concern is that
questionable.
Indian Creek handles a whole lot of water already.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking it's something concrete's on the big roof that's gonna funnel a lot more water in and out.
Yeah, so Jason, to that point, almost the entire parcel in question here is located within the riparian setback. And that part of our code carries with it all sorts of restrictions as to what can or cannot be built in there. Basically, if you want to build anything, you would need an approval from, well, actually from the BZA, not from this body. And while I would never say you can never build anything in there, it would be difficult. And I guess I would, the neighbor to the north who's interested in the parcel, is obviously not here tonight, but I hope he recognizes that as well. There really isn't much he can do with it. So if he wants to expand his yard.
That was the first thing I pointed out to him, because he just.
Define expand yard,
Yeah.
I'm not asking you, but.
Yeah, and I didn't know who he was, he just reached out, so when I called him, I said, like, you realize you can't really, because I thought it was somebody trying to do like a commercial outlet or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, well, you got floodplain, you can't really, he's like, no, I just want a bigger backyard for me and my dogs. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll see what I can do for you, so.
Yeah, so by code, he's permitted to walk in the riparian setback, and that's about it.
That's
Trees
what-
or anything like that.
I think there are there is some language, if you have a dead tree in certain
But he
instances,
couldn't
you
clear
can
plant
remove
grass
it.
or something.
No,
Okay.
you're not supposed to, so.
Can I ask a question? So you didn't locate his structure, Dylan's structure, on the survey, or your surveyor didn't? And I mean, I generally see where it's located on the little aerial I provided, but, you know, it's conceivable that he has some space to do an outbuilding if you were to combine these, staying out of this right away. Well, maybe not
It
even
is
the
building
building
front built
setback,
setback, goes right up to the riparian setback.
close to it, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a doghouse if you want to walk.
Yeah.
But I'll fit in there.
Where is his house? I don't see his house.
Just, his house is a different parcel, that's why
Yeah,
it's
you-
not on survey, but it's just to the.
Tony, if you look on Brian's map,
Across the road or something?
No, just directly to the next.
Oh,
It's just right
okay, I
there.
couldn't see that. How big a parcel is this that he wants? Couple acres?
2.1 acres.
Yeah.
And do you, I mean, I see Davy's name is on here, but the split isn't, that's not for Davy, right?
No, we
Well,
are just a
there's-
surveyor.
Yeah, you're just a surveyor, so this is being done to effectuate a desire of a northern property owner. And so the land is owned by Enclave,
Correct, it's owned by the Redwood entity.
yeah, and you have standing to act on their behalf,
On whose behalf?
the Redwood.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm the
right.
vice president of acquisitions, yeah.
Okay, so you have standing to act on their behalf. You can make this request,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my concern is that, do we have anything from Dylan that is requesting this? Do you have anything from him? The commission should have something, counter signature on the application, and then they would need to know, again, I don't have necessarily a problem with it at all, knowing this, but I think there's some standards that have to be in play here that make me just a little unsettled, but we just wanna follow all those, like, what's the overall total width, including his property, and depth, including his property, and then does it affect those other things that I mentioned? I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's planning on just keeping this parcel separate, or if he wants to like combine it into his existing parcel, like a recombination. I don't know what he wants to, I would leave it up to him. I mean, so the other wrinkle in this too is, like I said, we have to have lender approval, and I believe, what Zeph, you were telling me is once, if this were to get approved, we'd have 30 days to record, is that correct? That's what the standard said. So I'm just saying, if that's true, I would wanna make sure that our lender approval is already, all taken care of. because I wouldn't wanna have a situation where it were to get approved and, you know, we're waiting on lender approval and I can't meet that 30-day deadline. So I'm working through sorting that too. So I mean, it sounds like we need to come back anyway, cause you want some more details sorted out.
I mean, I do, that's up to
Yeah.
the commission.
Yeah, I think if you've got concerns, I think.
Could he come with you?
So I invited him tonight, but he didn't have
Yeah,
time, he
you
wasn't
know, maybe-
available,
maybe
so.
you could hear from his plans for it.
I mean, would it help to, if he can't make the meeting, just to have like something in writing from him, just saying like he has an interest in purchasing it for this reason, or what are?
I mean, my recommendation to the commission is that he's here at the meeting, and I'll tell you why, because, if he's not combining it with the parent parcel, in his case his house property, what's the purpose? And we're effectively creating a non-buildable lot, which in the eyes of the BZA, they may say, well, the city approved it, why wouldn't we grant a variance? And I'm not sure we'd be wanting to grant variances on this thing for structures, given the physical the environmental limitations, so.
Or any type of construction. great.
Yeah, any kind of, so, you know, for me, I'd feel more comfortable on behalf of the city to have some kind of restrictions placed on the lot as well.
I was just gonna ask if you could do
Do
restrictions on the lots.
restrictions, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Would it help to mark on the face of the survey, vacant land to remain vacant and to be contiguous to?
I think that, he would need a deed restriction to make that, you know, really, just because it's on there, it doesn't matter, he could change that. So something that's a little more in perpetuity, like a deed restriction would be what I would be looking for. If that's his true intent. If his true intent is just to run the dog out there and he owns the property, I'm not sure, he probably could do it without owning it, but nevertheless, if that's the intent, then a deed restriction's simple, and it shouldn't be a problem adding that to it. I just don't want the city to create a lot that's gonna create more problems going down the line.
Yeah, so it sounds like, then from that standpoint, it would be more beneficial for him to combine it with his existing lot that he owns with his home, so that you're not creating a separate lot that's just sitting there and.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say just the opposite. If you're gonna place a deed restriction on the new parcel, it probably should stay its own parcel. He doesn't want the deed restriction on his parent parcel.
If we do a deed restriction, yes, that's why I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out what would be a preferred path, you know, for
Yeah,
him.
and I don't wanna speak for Brian, but I think to Brian's point, he's concerned that,
Why would he need a deed restriction if there's no way you could ever build anything on that property because of
Well-
riparian rights? Why would you need a deed restriction?
well,
There's
he
never
can
not
go
no
to the
way.
BZA and request a variance to build on the property. And Brian's point, I don't wanna speak for you, is, thank you. I don't think Brian wants this board to approve this lot split, because then that's, I don't wanna say ammunition, that's a bit of a strong word, but in the future, it would help, in this case Dylan, if he did appear before the BZA, it would help his case. Hey, you guys approved this lot split for me in this manner, now you gotta give me the variance. And it puts our BZA in a tough spot, so, which I agree,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
I mean, I hear I hear Joe's concern about the parent parcel, but I think you could add language to this description that says so many feet off of the house begins, you know, a 2.1017 acre parcel of this parent parcel that's restricted to in the following way. So you could do that too, as opposed to, I mean, I get it, you don't want to probably restrict your parent parcel, but there's legal description
Yeah, you
that could
could do
be
that,
added
yeah.
that would.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't want this board to create something that's a headache down the line for the city. That's all.
and then in addition, does there need to be, any proof that they're not filing any, coverage or lot acreage, was that what you were asking for as well?
Yeah, I think that should be submitted. It's probably not, but, you know, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the original plat for, which I'm assuming, because these are rentals, it's probably, is it just one parcel?
The rest of the,
Correct, it's one parcel with one owner.
Yeah, one parcel, one owner, one setback to property lines, so there's probably less of a concern. But yeah, I mean, I think you probably have all that information. You could just submit with it, the original development plat.
Yeah, we have the original
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, and it'll spell out what was approved, and the city probably, I'm assuming the city has it. It's been some time since we did that.
Predates me.
Unfortunately, it does not predate me. I remember working on it, I just don't remember what it was, I don't remember all the particulars, so.
So it sounds like, yeah, something with, yeah, if we can get some information, that'd be helpful, but the big thing is either a deed restriction on a compounding lot or keeping some kind of restriction to protect, see, but not, you know, hurt him in the future for his home property. But I think that, and what is what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, you can keep it separate and just have a restriction on that property, just again to cover the city.
So if you guys are okay with that,
Right, yeah.
I'll make a motion to continue this to the October meeting. That sounds, you're trying to get your.
Yeah, just planning commission is once a month.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So hopefully you can get your lender, your loan stuff
You
figured
can
out.
still get your lenders, while we're waiting,
Yeah,
you can get the lender,
that's what I'm
it's worthless land for the lender anyway.
And luckily, it's Fannie Mae, HUD, because HUD would say, they would look at the appraisal, even though it's worthless land, they would say it's worth X amount, you have to pay it down. Because Fannie's a little more understanding, they're like, the release of this collateral doesn't
You
impact.
can't do anything with it, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys, have a good one.
Since the 18 guys are not here still, let's discuss the next item, which is the proposed amended language for ordinance 51, 2025.
Excuse me, Chairman?
Yes.
If you don't mind, may I excuse myself?
Go ahead. If you don't think you got anything to contribute.
I'm not on this particular one, the driveway.
We thought you did.
What's that?
We thought you did.
I'll leave it up to you folks.
All right, thanks.
You got it.
All right, so this was, we discussed it a little bit last month. It was about the driveway modifications. I think this originated with the building department, about wanting to get a hard surface back to any additional garages. We have a lot of discussion about distances and whatever, you know, costs and all kinds of stuff. We were gonna think about it for the next month. I know Tony's got some
Yeah,
thoughts. if you wanna-
sort of down up my alley, you know, legal stuff. But anyway, I think I said that at the last meeting, that Macedonia isn't the only one trying to upgrade their driveways and their roads and all that. And a lot of them would like no more gravel driveways. And so I'll pass this around. I have City of North Olmsted and Sheffield Lake. And the point I was trying, and they make it rather clear, the word grandfathered in comes into this. In a criminal case, it would be ex post facto law, that you can't make something a crime that wasn't a crime when it was committed. If it was not a crime, and all of a sudden you make it a crime, to make it criminal. And the one in that transformed to civil law is grandfathered in, and so we'd run into that. And I see a bit of problem with the ones that were proposed. I don't know if they enacted this without looking at other code. Everybody slavishly copies everybody else's code, what I've noticed. And so I'll pass these around. You'll see all these, Sheffield Lake and North Olmsted, they all make sure that things are grandfathered in. And what we saw, and Mr. Roberts noted the same thing, that if your driveway is not repaired, in other words, if you haven't repaired your driveway, all residential driveways and parking areas installed after the effective date of this section shall be hard surfaced, free of concrete and dust. That's repaired. So the repaired kind of bothered me. if you already have your gravel driveway in there and it's in sad need of repair, and then they enact this statute, was the thinking of Macedonia to go out there and say, well, we're not gonna let you repair it unless you put in cement. And I think you'd run into this, the statute, which, there's a civil statute, I guess I cited it, might have cited it in there. 71315, Brian, you might look at that one, a revised code. And there's, you know, a whole bunch of cases that, and that is under non-conforming use. Land use of any building that's existing at the time of enactment of a zoning ordinance may be continued. That's what the statute reads. And so that would be run into that if we're not careful when you put these in here to make sure that somebody that has a driveway and maybe an old garage in the back of it for years, all of a sudden they enact the statute and you're saying, well, now you gotta put a concrete driveway in because you can house a car in that building back there, and that's the way ours sort of reads. It's not real clear that it would be a non-conforming use. It would be grandfathered in. So that's the only thing I worried about when I read that, those two amendments.
So I think you're looking at, and I circled that word repaired as well, and maybe it's because we talked about it last time, I was just reading it again today.
Yeah.
And you know, that could be, you know, somebody's got their gravel driveway going back to the back, your back garage, they've had it there for 50 years. It's, you know, the gravel's just disappearing and they have somebody bringing another load of gravel, just dump it, same footprint, nothing changed.
Right.
And that's repairing. Now, you drop some gravel on that, now you need to concrete this whole thing.
Yeah,
Even though you've had it for 50 years, you're not causing a problem.
That would be not grandfathered in if you tried to enforce that against them. If they took you to court, you might have a jackpot problem for the city of Macedonia.
I think repair is way too general. Like, the one example, thanks for bringing this, Tony, that you provided with North Olmsted, it said that as long as it stays in compliance with other ordinance, such as those for exterior property maintenance, et cetera. But if they would expand it or change it, then now it could, repair, I think, is way too general. And I don't know if there's more discussion, but we talked about kind of sending the message that we're gonna take this and own this and potentially have a work session and rewrite it and send it back to city council. I just think there's a lot of problems in this. If that's still an option that's on the table, I think we need to do that.
I think there's some definitions and discussions of different scenarios that I think we need to work through. I agree with you that the repair component is pretty vague. I mean,
Well, that's just one of the ordinances.
I would say
the other
that's-
ordinance the same way. The
Putting-
same problem.
putting like gravel over gravel is a maintenance, not a repair.
Yeah, I mean,
If your driveway or if your gravel path, we'll call it whichever, is 8 foot wide and you all of a sudden are going to make it 12 foot, that's an expansion. You're making it larger at that point and then it should comply to current standards, but.
When I was talking with Nino about this very thing, he had two things that he added. He said, when it comes to repair or something like that, there should be maybe a percentage maybe added on to that. If you do, you know, a certain percent or more, then it would have to be hard surface. But he's talking about just from the road to the garage. And if there's an outbuilding that branches off that, it could be, gravel if necessary, but he believes that it should be outlined so that that gravel does not expand from whatever width it is originally to several feet wider in a couple years.
I think Nino maybe should look at ordinances from other cities and see what they've done.
Yeah.
To try to create something out of your head, it's really not done when you write a statute or an ordinance that I know of. Picking something out of your head. Even the first one here is a little vague. That's one. The other one talks about repair, but this one says a minimum of one detached garage, where the detached garage is sized to allow storage of a vehicle. A standard concrete driveway shall be installed. Well, there's a garage back there in the back. It's been there for 20 years. It's sized to allow storage of a vehicle. Now, do you have to have a concrete driveway in there? even though there's no driveway or gravel for the last 20 years. I mean, so that, I think this statute is a little vague too. These other communities have gone through this before. That's the way I think Nino should look at it, instead of trying to create something out of his head.
I think the first part of this, I don't wanna speak for everyone, I think we're all mostly, if not all, supporting that, the primary, from the road, the street, whatever it is, to the primary residence, that going forward, that should be paved.
Correct.
Where we're having a lot of problems, the additional language, as we scroll down, in our copy, it's highlighted yellow, some of it, but now we're talking about secondary structures and all that, so. That's why I just think we need that.
I do know when talking with Nino, he brought up the idea of being grandfathered and these existing driveways obviously would be, can't, add a hardship to something that's existing, but, like I was saying before.
North Olmsted uses the word grandfather right in their ordinance, which, is helpful, I think.
And I'm
Can
sure-
can I just say on that, we're not gonna use that term in our code. There's no such term in legal
They
sense.
call it in layman's term grandfather.
Yeah, it's not a legal term.
Well-
Grandfathering is not a legal term. It's
That's
legal.
That's a copy of their code, so they use it.
I know some people who in the winter jump in the freezing lake. I wouldn't do that either. But it's just not a legal term. So the legal term is legal non-conforming, and we have a non-conforming chapter that addresses legal non-conformities. And I do agree that there's a lot of language in here that's kind of fraught with some issues. And it was left at the last meeting because of the way amendments are done under 114103. The message was, can you just nix this because we don't have time to review this, and then we will initiate an amendment and write it differently, work with administration. I don't know if it's back as still ordinance 51. I don't know what happened to that, but you're past your deadline to act on it at this point, which is 30 days.
So we always have to.
You can't do anything to this.
Well, I guess I wonder, our recommendation to them was to pull it back and let us do our own thing and submit it to them. I don't know, does anyone know if that happened?
Yeah, in
Oh.
council,
Okay, so they
pushed
pulled-
it back to you guys.
Okay.
Oh. So there is no more ordinance 51.
What it is I basically told them that you guys were gonna be looking at it further. So
Okay.
that's where we left it.
So do you know what action they took on ordinance 51? They-
Brian,
they-
why don't they let the law department draw up something what Nino wants? Draw it up, and so draw it up properly.
This didn't come from Nino directly. This was sponsored by one of the council people, Finley.
Is he the legal
he-
lawyer for
that was-
Macedonia?
That was more of a, but they divide up the legislation, so they'll have opportunities to sponsor certain stuff. I don't know if he's personally attached, I think his name just on it because he,
Gotcha.
Who wants to take this one?
that's what I mean.
Finley, you got this one.
As a sponsor of that
Yeah.
legislation.
Yeah, well,
I did have
Law department draw it up.
I had a conversation with the, city council president, that's what he said, how that happened. They just kind of divided up in the
Gotcha.
pre-meeting.
Yeah, so set aside ordinance 51, that's a council thing, they can figure out how to deal with that. So it's tasked back with the commission, you can, under 114101, initiate an amendment to the code. And so you can do that, come up with language, work with Nino and staff to determine what exactly you want. If the, I didn't know this, it sounds like the main issue or a significant issue is from the road to the principal house or principal garage. If that's the case, you could just do a sunset clause and, give people time to eventually get rid of their gravel and turn it into concrete. I thought the issue really was on secondary structures or outbuildings. That was the driver crux of the language, was to go from the back of the main house to that structure in the rear or the side and make that hard surface. And then the issue that was raised was, well, it could be way back on some of these large lots, and do you really want this large gravel or large paved road, driveway leading all the way, stretching across property? I think that's kind of what was talked about.
Yeah, that was some of it, and I think what it was is there was a discussion of those properties that do have that condition, I don't think the issue was that it was gravel, I think it was that there was nothing.
Hmm.
That's where some of this came from, is that it was, then it becomes a city issue because somebody's trekking something from way back on their property with no driveway, and then they're pulling out onto the street and they're leaving mud and dirt and everything like that all over the place. It's causing an issue. I think that was part of what some of that discussion was as well.
Yeah, and you know, we do see that in lots of communities, and you have ordinances to prohibit tracking of mud on the road. You're probably still gonna get some of that.
Yeah.
The issue is really the aesthetics and the practicalness of requiring that connector point from the back of the house to service that garage that is by definition is sized to allow a vehicle for storage. So there's lots to talk about, I think, with staff and how to write it. And I agree, repair is very dubious. And what percentage requires then a full, you know, if I read this thing the way it's written, anyone who, if you repair or expand it, you have to take your entire driveway and make it hard surface. And that's, you know, that's pretty costly.
I think that's the problem, trying to create this out of our heads without having the legal law department that advises Macedonia or any community help write this thing. You know, there's a statute, 713.15, lawful use of any building as existing and lawful at the time of enacting a zoning ordinance may be continued. That's exactly how it reads. So how do you crawl around that one?
Well, we
You're
don't.
stuck with that one.
We
So
don't.
we can't have the upgrading of all of our driveways. Somebody could be there 50 years with their gravel driveway and throw that statute, that ordinance right in your face.
Yeah, but if you look at 1173, we have that language in our code right now.
Well, okay.
Non-conformities, so how we deal with non-conformities, I think we probably wanna beef this language up. It's a bit old, I think it's written from 1982.
But
Few things that
I think we ought to
changed
incorporate
in
that
life.
in this and, you know, sort of upgrade, but somebody that has a gravel driveway, I don't see how you can force them ever to change their driveway as long as they're living there. Now, when they sell the house, maybe that's something else again.
Yeah.
Can't when they sell the house, yeah.
You could do point of sale inspection, I don't know how the city handles that, but those are things you can do. Again, it's the cost, you know, how you deal with that and the practicalness or reasonableness of requiring that standard. And one approach could be you could have, a lawyer write it, or you could, you know, do it here at the planning commission level. I mean, that's what you have me here for, and we could talk through these things and we can write language that makes sense. However you wanna do it.
This might, just because we're on the record here, if I may be looking at the minutes wrong from the most recent city council meeting, which I believe was on September 11th, but the ordinance still shows that it went through a second reading there. So like, would there be something, I don't know, I'm asking, would there be something that they formally withdrawn it?
Well, you have to read, likely in the charter, you have to read it 3 times when it affects property, and then you can't act on it as an emergency. I'd have to look at the charter.
Yeah.
So if it read, that means it's
initially,
still on the agenda pending for a 3rd reading. You know, I don't know what their intent is. They could remove it. They could put it on an inactive agenda. There's lots of ways to, let's say, kill an ordinance, but it sounds like they read it for the purpose of it continuing forward.
So is there a formal way we can request them to remove it so it doesn't get to a 3rd reading at the next meeting?
Well, you could do it through the chair, I suppose.
What would I,
Well, if that's what the commission wants, if
Yeah.
you want it to be borne by this body, just pen a email or a letter that says, hey, ordinance blank 51 still remains as a, you know, for a 3rd reading at your next agenda. As chairman of the commission, we are requesting that this item be continued indefinitely, put on an active agenda, squashed, however you want to word it, And then we'll take up the matter, working with staff to prepare a document for council consideration. Because again, you have 3 ways to amend the code. You can initiate it, council can initiate it, or a group of residents can initiate it. One or more residents.
You get all that?
So, feel like Susan.
How's it feel?
Trying to keep
How's it feel?
Spitting out brilliant stuff that nobody can keep. What? I got
You want me to read that back to
ordinance,
you?
I got send email. What was after that?
If you, if that's what the commission wants,
Yeah.
so there's 5 of you, if that's what you want, I'd be glad to help you prepare that email, that's fine.
Yeah, if you guys would like to spend, and I guess, you know, if we want to do something with it, do we set up a separate meeting, a work session? You know, really come to spend a couple hours on this and read up the language and ideas that we've got. And, you know, I think there's a couple of bigger issues in the thing that we'll probably all kind of agree on. Just find the best way that we think to work, but you guys, I mean, I don't know when.
Yeah, I think it's just harder to figure out when we would do it versus
Yeah.
actually doing it.
Do we need to pick a date now, or?
It would probably be a good, I was thinking like, you know, midway between meetings, but I know the next, like, you know, what are we on the 8th?
What we do at our meeting, I don't quite, I kind of missed it.
So I think like if we had a special, like a work session, just to spend time just with this.
Us to be drawing up our own ordinance?
Yeah, we could bring some stuff in, like you're talking, you know, look at some other ordinances, bring some language.
I don't know why, I asked the last meeting, why our board, a bunch of amateurs here, are writing ordinances. The whole thing mind-boggling. Normally you send it to the law department. I was in, 12 years I was on the board at Hudson.
Yeah.
And we did everything with the law department. They were there,
And we could
and they
ask-
drew up stuff.
We could ask them to attend
That's
the
what I,
work session.
well, they should be drawing up these things rather than us.
But I guess
Off
to
the
get
top
our,
of our
to get
head.
our thoughts on it at least, I mean, it's tough to, you know, if it's just to turn this into more formal language or something, it still might not have our thoughts of, geez, I don't think we should make them do that, or I don't think, you know, whatever it is, you know,
Or we can't do that, you know, legally you can't. That's sort of where I was coming from.
Yeah, but
I don't
wouldn't it
think
be
legally you can.
Wouldn't it be possible to set up a meeting and outline kind of what we feel should be in there and then hand it off to legal?
Yeah, that's what I
And
would
have
do,
them write
maybe
it,
something
and
like
then
that.
we review it, or maybe legal decides they would attend the meeting, I don't
Yeah.
know how that works, but just spending my taxpayer
Let-
money
let-
right
let
there.
If
them
you don't
draw.
tell him what you want, he's gonna write something that you're probably not gonna want. So
Yeah, so
you're
maybe
gonna
we-
need to tell him what you want.
have a work session with just this group, planning
Yeah,
commission
yeah,
and
okay.
staff. Here, get our thoughts together, our recommendations, shoot it to legal, say, hey, can you turn this into
Yeah,
something?
turn it into something that would pass muster.
Yeah.
And won't get the Macedonia into a jackpot.
So is that all of us that would be at this?
It should be your, all 5 of you.
Yeah, all 5 of us, and if you guys are available, I don't know.
Tell me what you want me to do.
I would prefer that you were there, and is somebody from the building department, you or Nina or something like that?
I'm but a humble servant to the planning commission.
But looking at, you know, times that we're at September 16th, the next, you know, if we did 2 weeks from this, I am out of town. 2 weeks from this Monday.
Let's see, I'm out of town too.
What's our next actual planning commission?
The 20th of October.
2 weeks before that is the 6th
Of October.
of October. Is anybody?
I should have brought my calendar, but I don't, I didn't.
I'm okay with that.
I think I'm good, let me just check, I have to check two calendars. Should be good.
Brian, do you know if you have the 6th available?
Yeah, I can be here. At
What time
whatever
are you
time.
guys thinking?
I don't know, is 5 normal meeting time, or is that a pain in the butt? Would you rather go home and have dinner? I don't
The
know.
chair typically provides food.
Oh, do they? I thought it was, I thought it was the.
Do we have to be here?
When are we gonna be in Idaho? Give me the dates. That's all you.
No, you need, it's an open
Yeah.
meeting, so you do have to use it, do it here.
It's a public building.
Yeah, no, it has to be here.
Kevin, first to the 8th of I'm out of town.
Okay.
First to the 8th of October.
What about, the 13th?
That sounds
And
good.
there's nothing that says we have to do this like in the next
Immediately.
4 weeks, right? You know,
Right,
if
I
we
don't
can't
think so.
find something until November, it's not like a problem, right?
I
Nino
would-
said last meeting it wasn't something that was like burning the earth.
There's not a lot of concrete being poured after November. Anyhow.
I have business travel the week of 13th, I have to keep that week open.
So what about?
Do you wanna
Maybe the 20th.
consider putting it on the 20th and then have a fallback position, your normal meeting, put it at the end and talk about it?
We could do that. I mean, do you go into a separate, you just leave it as an item and
Put it on your agenda, that's all. At the end of the meeting,
you're gonna do that now if we get 27 things?
you bump it.
Yeah.
When's Thanksgiving? I'm out of town, around
So
Thanksgiving.
we're thinking about just doing it at the next meeting, at the
Yeah.
end, as long as it
Oh, that's
doesn't,
a
as
good
long as the
idea. Yeah, that's a
meeting's
good
not
idea.
too long.
Nobody's gonna build another hotel or something.
Yeah, something,
We,
2 hours.
we could move this to the next meeting or something.
So maybe have some more formalized ideas for that meeting. You guys are already here. Unless that agenda's looking really long, maybe plan on being around for an extra hour or so to really try and get some of this on paper.
It'd probably be good if the building department could bullet point what their issues are.
Yeah,
And then having that will be a basis to determine how to amend the code. So if you know what the main issues are as a commission from the administration, it's easy to write the code.
Okay.
I've written a few of them in my time. It's not that hard.
Present like a few specific cases, what brought this to be, like, you know, without naming names, but, you know, this address, and, you know, like, who these, like, nuisance homes are that are putting a lot of mud or whatever in the street, like, what brought this?
Yeah,
to
clearly
be-
there's something going on that brought it. What I would
Yeah.
say the most important thing is, what are the issues? So is it from the street to the main house? Is it from the house to the outbuilding? What's a priority of the administration? Is it both those? What's an acceptable, alternative? Can somebody do grass papers instead of asphalt? What triggers the need to upgrade a property? Those are all things you wanna start to think through.
Aesthetics, or is it?
Yeah. And then what's are there outliers? So we had a planning commission member last time say, look, if there's one in the way back, I don't want a concrete drive or whatever going all the way back, or it's too expensive. So are there, as a committee, are there things that are sensitivities to you that draw the line, like, now this isn't gonna work, we can make some changes, but this is what we think is reasonable. At the end of the day, council is the elected body that has to agree or disagree or modify what you're requesting.
okay. I'll let you relay that all to Nina,
Oh, I
if you
got
don't
it,
mind, and,
yeah, that's fine.
let's plan on, discussing this in more detail on the 20th.
And,
At the next
you may
meeting.
also want to, we don't know if Mr. Finley is just a sponsor because, he handles planning commission as part of his duties, or maybe he's on board with something has to be changed and he feels strongly about things, could invite him to the meeting to talk. If he has, Vinny's been here,
So you almost
Yeah.
have to
right?
call
Vinny's
city
had
council
issues that
if they
he
want to
feels
remove
strongly
it.
about. So,
Surprising that it's him, it's
Oh,
saying.
we have to have fire then too, wouldn't we? No, that's a good thing.
why
How
don't
many
we
inches
fire,
do you want to support the engine?
I don't think fire.
Dave go broke.
Okay.
For us to put one of our rigs on.
Yeah, you
Residential
don't,
driveway.
you don't regulate or get involved with residential, so that.
So you wouldn't even have to attend that portion, would you? Well, I guess we're having a regular meeting, so.
He's gotta be here, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Never
You
mind.
may be
think
like
you
the
have-
engineer, asked to leave.
That's what he did. Okay.
And it's not
Someone
gonna let
else
him out
take
of
us
that
to
one.
something. Okay, well, let's plan on doing that.
Okay, next meeting,
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay, put it on the agenda. Just back to the agenda. But we don't have the ATM folks here, but I would like to maybe circle back to it, if that's appropriate, just for a brief discussion.
Well, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
So, Susan, were they notified of the meeting?
Yeah.
They made application, they were notified of the meeting. I think you have it on your agenda, you can act on it, or you can do what you want with it, they were notified. I have some comments I would
Well, why
like
don't you
to.
go over your comments for us, and I got a thought on it.
Sure. Yeah, my report says September sixth, so basically, the ATM is not an issue, there's one there already, as I provided a little snippet of the Chase Bank one, right? It zones, B3, drive-in banks as interpreted are permitted by right. So it really comes down to the aesthetics, the look, and then the height of these signs, because that's basically, they have a lot of signage on here. They don't have a separate sign application, it's always historically been that the commission wants these as a separate sign application, so they should do that. And if their intent is to have those signs at the elevations, you'll see in my report, they're too tall, and then it's just not attractive. And so all of those reasons, my suggestion was, they need to redesign this thing, and I felt a little more aligned with what we did with the Chase Bank ATM.
Right. Do you have any idea why they wanted the taller, so trucks can maybe get, some big trucker can get his
It's
cash?
not that, it's this piece.
Huh?
It's that piece.
Oh, a different piece.
Yeah,
that piece that
it's the
sits up top
appendage
there.
at
I
the
have
top.
no idea why they do that. They should have kept the old one, just changed the name.
I can speculate, First National Bank, isn't located where it says it's over by, when you lose it over there, like around the corner and down the street, so I imagine if I'm in the marketing department, I want as much advertising, I think, as actually
Oh,
possible.
maybe
but
that's
they're
not here.
speaking,
I was
so-
wondering what impetus them to do that.
And Brian, just for information, I don't know if you know that they actually removed the stuff that was out there, it's gone now.
It's gone.
Oh, the Chase stuff is gone?
Yeah,
Uh,
driveway's still
Islands
there.
of the baller, they're there, but,
Yeah, I didn't realize the ATM physically,
yeah.
No, it's gone.
Once they opened their new location, it was there for a couple months and then it was gone.
did Chase have a facility bank in the Commons?
Rexville and Twinsburg, they had, now they have one in,
Yeah, over there.
Here,
I
on-
can't remember, do they have one in here though? I don't know.
They wouldn't
I thought they had a unit in the Commons at one
What used to
point.
be, what's the bank that's got the other ATM now? Can't
It's up front by the Tesla station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
Star
Star.
or something.
Star, yeah.
Well, my thoughts on this is I feel like after we approved what was out there before, it hit me that, geez, I wish we would have had them do something closer to what was down there by the other ATM by the Outback and,
We
yeah.
just did their signage a few months ago.
or the one that exists from Chase, just change the name.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
is that
but they
Flagstar?
took it all out.
Am I allowed to call?
But yeah, the Flagstar one,
Is that a Flagstar one?
that's what it is now.
That's what just.
But we have
yeah,
a
just-
question from our fire department.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
there's a new Chase Bank over in Golden Lake.
Yeah, and they have an ATM there, but we were talking about, did they have a location where the old ATM used to be in the, Macedonia Commons area? I don't think they did, I think they just had the ATM there.
I don't remember it.
Because the one over here, what used to be Ohio Savings, we
Yeah,
had
it's
a
now Flagstar.
Flagstar. It was it's a
Oh,
significant,
it was Ohio State, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we had, those guys jump through some hoops, it's kind of significant.
It's more architecturally,
Pleasing than what was, built, the old one you can see in Brian's memo is basically a couple of hunks of metal and a blue little canopy. I would like to see them do something, maybe it's encase it in brick or something, I don't know. But that's what I was thinking, it's something.
Maybe just continue it and have them come up the next meeting instead of.
Yeah, I don't think we'll,
Yeah,
making decisions, there's a lot of stuff that they need
And
to.
they could read Brian's comments
Yeah, I hope they
and
watch
change,
the video,
change
the
everything.
discussion too.
Maybe
I
that'd
don't
be
know
the
if
way.
you do, like, with a space every 4 columns, it might have to be like.
I
2
don't know, or
columns.
just at least brick it in or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to make it look better, but there's definitely, there's things that have to be done. These are Brian's comments, I mean, it's just absolutely just too
Right
tight.
now, it just looks like a really big ATM stuck in the middle with some concrete balls around it, and that doesn't really match the aesthetics of every other building, in that entire shopping area,
And
so.
they're taking out the canopy and everything.
Yeah, all that's gone. It's just concrete right now, so.
Sounds like an idea.
So, Susan, I assume they really sent the comments,
Yeah,
as far as you know, okay.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to, since the applicant's not here and there's significant comments on their application, I'll make a motion to continue this to the next, to the October meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I think, besides one thing I wanted to bring up, some of you might know Mr. Cox has asked for us to try to find a replacement for him.
Yeah, right.
So potentially this could be his last meeting.
Well,
But
yeah, whatever.
I think even if it is, I would invite you to come
Okay.
to the next one to,
Sorry.
at least for the discussion on
I
the
got some
ordinance. since you
excited
got some
about
ideas.
this,
Yeah, you got some to get excited. We might have to, but, yeah, this is your last meeting, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the commission. I don't know, how many years has it been?
God, quite a few.
Quite a few.
Prior to that, I was on Hudson for 12
Yeah.
or 15 years.
And appreciate your experience and your, what you've contributed. But hopefully we got you, it'd be nice if we had you for another month, officially, but, I'm sure they're gonna start trying to look, there is a suggestion. But, thanks for being on the commission. Sure. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
All right.
You want a 20-second for the last?
Yeah, really, sure.
Tony, did you second it?
Way to go.
You seconded it. You go ahead and second.
Wow.
I'll vote for it, though.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.